Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio. Corey DLG is still dealing with his gas issues, so we're just going to keep the show going.
It could be the city's gas issue at this point.
No, it's like his internal gas issue.
Is it?
Yeah.
This is his own personal battle.
Yeah, it's his own personal battle. It has nothing to do with the city of wherever he was.
Fair enough.
Moving right along. Don't forget, check us out at facebook.com/Nerd Thug Radio. Going up this week, we're going to start taking people registering for our Extra Life event. Next week, our friend Brian McMeans, who is kind of running the big event at Space Cadets Gaming, will be on to talk about Extra Life. We are doing a charity Mario Kart tournament.
I have a lot of interest in my pledgers from last year.
Nice, good. Yeah, last year, man, the 4-man crew of us, we killed it, man. It was awesome. I think we're going to play Mario Kart on the Nintendo Switch this year, so it'll be nice and fun. I think
Is it a tournament?
Yeah.
Are we doing a tournament?
Yeah. You're going to be out of town, though, right?
When is it?
November 4th.
Maybe.
Maybe
No,
not.
it's a Saturday?
Yeah.
No.
You're in?
We'll be in.
Yes. So Zach's in. Colt's in.
I'm
all the Nerd Thug
I'm not
family,
missing it this year.
all the Nerd Thug family will be there.
I'll be killing it is what I'll
we've
be
got
doing.
some few people. But it's going to be $20 to sign up to play in this. All that money will go straight to the Extra Life Fund, Texas Children's Hospital. Great hospital. They've done some work for me recently, which is pretty awesome.
We're going to have a sweet bracket.
Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know how many people are going to sign up. If we have too many people, we might have to do like pool play, then single elimination. Let people get to play like more than once. I don't know what's going to happen.
Which Mario Kart is it going to be?
It's going to be
like this.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
I haven't played that one.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Not a lot of people have played it, so there aren't going to be any ringers, except for me.
I'm a ringer.
All right, Zach.
Yes?
You're the special guest of the show today.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff happening on television.
Zach
I am an
loves some
active
TV.
TV watcher. I get emotionally
He
invested. I
does.
get, like, from a critical standpoint, very, very invested in television.
You know, I want to say this. What's changed a lot with you over the past 6 months? When we first started doing the show and you talk about TV, you were very adamant that you did not watch anything until there was like 3 seasons going on. And now all of a
My
sudden,
rule's pretty solid still.
but there's so much good stuff going on, you find yourself,
There's not a lot of good stuff.
Now
there's a
becoming
lot
invested.
of stuff happening. There's not a lot of good stuff.
but a lot of different stuff.
I've altered my rule about not getting involved in TV shows until they're 3 seasons in. Now I waive that rule for Netflix shows because Netflix is consistent enough to where they don't seem to be producing shows until they know they're going to do 2 to 3 seasons. So I'm okay with that.
Except for Sense8.
They're bringing back. They're doing another season of Sense8. They're doing a season 3.
They're doing like a big final one. The one that was like way expensive, so they had to cut it.
Yeah. Okay. So
Moving on.
My rule isn't as hard and fast as it used to be. I'll dip my toe into stuff every now and then just to keep kind of current. There's a couple of shows that I was really excited about, and now I'm not sure how to feel. So Inhumans.
Have you seen it yet?
I was incredibly excited about.
Have you
Inhumans.
seen it though?
I've watched the first episode.
Okay, not the first 2, just the first one.
Just the first one.
You gotta get the second one, man.
I know. But here's the thing. I was really excited about Inhumans, and it's a really, really ambitious story to tell. I really like it when television's ambitious.
Right, it is.
I enjoy that. I wasn't as impressed with the first episode as I wanted to be.
Right.
But it's getting like railed by critics, and I don't think it's at that point yet.
No.
I think the IMAX opening was a bad idea. From
Horrible
what
idea.
I saw from the first episode, there wasn't anything that would have been
No,
added by
right?
IMAX. Right. ABC is throwing a lot of money at this show. And I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know if it's going to be bad yet.
See,
I'm excited about it.
I almost think with the IMAX stuff, and me and DLG were talking about this over the weekend, they wanted to try something different and new. So they said, okay, let's throw Inhumans out there. It's an unknown property. If it fails, then we just chalk it up to because it's a TV show that no one's ever seen.
It's a ton of money.
It's almost like they left themselves an out, right? Because if they take one of their big shows and put it on IMAX and it fails, they're in a heap of trouble.
But that's not necessarily true. Game of Thrones did in I want to say season 3, but maybe it was season 2, where they showed several episodes in a theater. But they took their fan base.
Right, but they were on season 2 by then. It wasn't the premiere. It wasn't,
Yeah,
it
fair
wasn't IMAX.
Fair enough. But it's indicative of a problem. ABC is throwing a ton of money at the Inhumans, and Fox is throwing a ton of money at Orville. The Orville.
The Orville.
The set design and the special effects in both of these shows are incredible. They're spending a bunch of money on it, and I don't know.
What'd you think of Medusa's hair in the first episode?
I don't know that networks are yet realizing that they don't have to spend a ton of money.
They don't.
To have a really good show, even a really good comic book show. Netflix isn't spending a ton of money on shows like Atypical or Big Mouth, and they're unbelievable. BoJack Horseman is an incredible show, and it cannot cost that much to make.
The thing is, those kinds of shows, they live and die on their writing. And so you can have a show that is like BoJack or really low budget like a lot of the Netflix ones, but if it has really solid writing and characters and stories you can get into, that's what makes it good.
So what do you think of the way they did Medusa's hair in Inhumans?
I expected to think it was cheesy looking, but that's a hard thing to pull off, and I didn't think it looked terrible.
Right, it didn't.
I didn't think it looked bad. I think it looked as realistic as could be expected.
You got to wait till you get to see episode 2. It really starts tying stuff in, like sets the tempo for the whole show.
It's a hard thing. Black Bolt is a hard character to put on a screen.
I was telling DLG this. They went in a direction that I didn't expect them to go, and it's made me interested in the Inhuman show.
Black Bolt is a really, really hard character to put on a screen, and I worry about the character development in the show. This is another show, and there's a couple more like this out there, where instead of developing, at least in the first episode, instead of developing the characters tell you how to feel about them.
Right.
And I don't like that. I like a slow build to a point. I like a character to grow. The Orville.
I am wildly and weirdly attracted to this TV show.
The Orville?
As much as me and you go back and forth on this show, we differ on opinions of it.
Yeah, you're incorrect.
I'm
unfounded
also,
opinion.
I'm correct.
Is it a good show?
I
don't know.
it. Yeah, I'm kind of like with him though.
I don't know if it's a good show.
See, okay,
what's it about?
I'm not a big. Okay, so Seth MacFarlane wrote it, right?
Yes.
I'm not a big Family Guy fan. I'm not a big Family Guy fan,
It's Star Trek.
and I'm not a big fan of any of the other stuff Seth MacFarlane's really done that I've seen. Like none of it.
Fair enough.
And
It's
so
a really special blend of humor. You love it or you hate it.
But his humor in this show is nothing like anything he's done before. It's way different. And yeah, you're right. It's
an homage to Star Trek.
Right.
It's a space exploration show.
It's a wild ripoff.
Joey thinks it's a
Star
spoof
Trek.
because he doesn't know what a spoof is.
It's a wild ripoff of Star Trek.
Yeah,
It's a direct ripoff.
there are some for sure some elements that are taken from Star Trek.
It's a direct comedic ripoff.
It's
Star
not
Trek.
comedic though, and
It's a
that's my
comedy.
thing about it. I don't think it's a. I don't know.
It's not a parody.
It's not a parody. It's not a spoof. I don't think that it's a comedy either.
Imagine you take you're in the Star Trek universe, and you know how big the Star Trek universe is.
I haven't really watched much Star Trek.
Yeah, but the Star Trek universe is huge. How many TV shows have they done? This is like the corner of the Star Trek universe where they're trying to be funny, and that's what it is.
Oh, so is it canon?
No, it's not.
not at all.
It's not Star Trek. It's
not
not
at
Star
all.
Trek. There's
But
a
it
lot
is.
of elements that are very, very similar to Star Trek. For sure, there are.
But I am wildly entertained and
I think
stuck
it's
on
a
the
good show. I think it's an ambitious show from Seth MacFarlane. I think it's an ambitious show for Fox to have put on the air as well. It's a weird blend of comedy and action, and the jokes, there aren't as many jokes as you would expect, and the stories they're trying to tell are very, very interesting. I do think the idea they had episode 3 was about having a gender reassignment surgery for an alien baby, and it was an interesting take on it. They botched it, they botched it because first of all, they used weird, antiquated terminology, and they didn't do a good job of it was just an about face for one of the characters who changed their mind. But
it's almost like a dry humor.
But the ambition was there for it. And then the most recent episode is they discover a ship where people aren't aware that they're on a spaceship. It's this huge colony ship. Joey's laughing. There are very, very, very few jokes in this show.
This show sounds so bizarre.
No, there's not.
It's a
very
space
few
exploration
jokes.
show.
There's tons
There
of
are
jokes in the
very
show.
few jokes.
It's just very dry.
In a 42-minute show, there aren't nearly as many jokes as you would expect. It's not a comedy, and it is dry humor for sure.
It's a comedy.
It's jokes that are glossed over and just taken in stride and stuff, and I like that part of it. I think
straight
it's
up comedy.
I
It's an
think
action
the
comedy.
jokes are funny, but I don't think it's a comedy.
It's an action comedy. Straight
It's
up.
not a comedy.
It's a comedy.
The humor style and
There's like a
the
joke
humor
per
of it.
scene.
It's
yeah.
maybe more than that. In the beginning of season 2 or episode 2, there was 12 jokes in the first 30 seconds
Disagree.
about the egg. There's no way you could disagree with that. We can go back and watch
Season
it.
2.
Episode 2, he's talking about the egg. He cracks 7 jokes in about 30 seconds.
Okay.
Thank you. But I think the biggest problem was it was Seth MacFarlane, and Fox pushed it to be this huge comedy show.
Right.
And it's
not
not people
that.
expected.
It's
And
not a big comedy.
And I
it's
like that
not
it's
a
not
big
that.
laugh for the entirety of the show comedy, for sure. And
it's not your slap knee comedy.
I think the jokes are really funny, but it's not a 42-minute joke.
Right. That's accurate,
they're
but it's still a comedy.
doing good plots, I think. I don't think this show is going to make it.
I don't know
don't
either.
think it's going to make it because they're not hitting their mark yet. The best development of character on the show has been the super strong but
The young
physically
girl?
tiny security officer.
Yeah, she's good.
I think she's great, and I think it's indicative, though. Fox is throwing a ton of money at this show, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make a hit for them. It's very pretty to look at, and I like it. I hope that it makes it. I don't think
I'm
it
weirdly
will.
entertained. My guess is that Fox doesn't pick it up, and maybe they switch it over to like FX or one of those smaller episodes, or not episodes, one of those smaller networks that Fox owns.
No. Seth MacFarlane is definitely Fox material.
FX is doing incredible things. They're not going to put this on FX.
Inhumans, it debuted with the same numbers that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did at their season 4 opening.
That doesn't surprise me.
Right. And so, but it's Friday night TV. Like, Friday night TV now is so different than it used to be. We used to have, like, TJF Friday and all those comedies, and, like, Friday night was a big night to watch TV. Friday night's not a big night to watch TV anymore.
No.
It's a big night to binge Netflix.
Right. And so I think maybe that's why Inhumans went Friday. It was safe for them. And they don't have to do as big as numbers if they were, like, on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday even. So I don't know. I mean, I like Inhumans. It was way different than I expected. 5 minutes into it,
I didn't dislike it, and I like the Inhuman story in general, and I want Inhumans to work. I don't think that it will.
5 minutes in, I was like, this is going to be horrible. The acting in the first 5 minutes,
almost
lost it.
It's such a niche market, and it's so much so fast for this long a show. Like, I don't see Inhumans.
It's only 8 episodes, and so they've only got 6 weeks left because they did the first 2 on the first night.
I don't see Inhumans making it either.
I mean, it'll get through the season, but after that, I don't know. I really don't know.
There's been news about season 1 being marketed as the complete series, so.
But like I mentioned earlier in the show,
I think if it's a one season story, like a mini series, I think it would have worked better.
Right, but like I said, the guy who's writing it is like, I've got plans for season 2. I know what's going to happen in season 3.
Do you, bro?
And I know what's going to happen now. We're going to take a break and come back to the weekly top 3. You're listening to Nerd Thug Radio. # talking nerdy to you.